You know that feeling when you walk into a room and the TV is blaring CNN, your
Well,
phone is blowing up with notifications, and like three people are trying to talk to you at once about why you're wrong about something.
It's the modern condition. We are absolutely swimming in information, but drowning in noise.
Exactly. It feels like we are constantly under siege. Politicians want our vote, advertisers want our money, and, internet strangers just want to win the thread.
Hmm.
And usually my reaction is just to shut down, to say, okay, whatever, you win, or just tune it all out. But today we are doing something different. We aren't looking at what people are arguing about.
No.
We are looking at how they are doing it.
We're looking at the machinery, the engine under the hood of every conversation, every editorial, and yeah, every family dispute.
We're talking about logic. Now, wait, don't hit pause. I know logic sounds like a dusty philosophy class where you have to memorize symbols that look like, I don't know, alien hieroglyphics.
It often is taught that way, yeah. Formal logic is very, very mathematical. But the material we have today, drawing from the text, understanding arguments, isn't about that. It's about informal logic.
Which is logic in sweatpants? Is that what we're saying?
In a way, I like that. It's logic for the street. It's logic for the messy, chaotic, the imprecise way human beings actually use language. It's not about abstract symbols. It's about self-defense. It's about learning how to stop someone from manipulating you.
That's the hook for me. Self-defense for your brain. Because
Right.
I feel like I get pushed around by words all the time. I read a headline and I get angry, and then 10 minutes later I realize, wait, that headline didn't actually say anything true.
That is exactly what we want to fix. By the end of this deep dive, we want to give you a toolkit. We want to turn you from a passive consumer of information, someone who just lets the waves hit them, into an analyst.
Right.
Someone who can look at a speech and say, I see what you did there.
So let's start at the very bottom. The bedrock. What is an argument? Because if I ask my neighbor, an argument is what happens when he forgets to take the trash out and his wife yells at him.
That is the common usage, right? An argument is a fight. It's a quarrel. It's emotional. There is actually a wonderful reference in the source material to Monty Python.
The argument clinic sketch. I love that one.
It's a classic. A man walks into a clinic and pays for an argument, but the man behind the desk just starts insulting him. He calls it a sniveling little heap of parrot droppings.
And the customer gets so frustrated and he yells, "This isn't an argument. This is just abuse."
Precisely. And in that frustration, he actually defines what an argument should be. He says an argument is a connected series of statements intended to establish a proposition.
Okay, let's translate that into English. That still sounds a little academic.
It means an argument is a tool for giving reasons. It's not about who screams the loudest. It's about structure. You have a set of sentences, we call them premises, and they are built like pillars to hold up another sentence, which is the conclusion.
So if I just say, "I hate that movie," that's not an argument.
No, that's just an opinion. That's
Yeah.
opining. But if you say, I hate that movie because the acting,
Was wooden and the plot had holes.
now we have an argument. You've given me pillars. You've given me reasons.
Okay, so we are building things with reasons, but why? I mean, what is the goal? The text breaks this down into two main pillars that I found really, really helpful: justification and explanation. And I feel like I mix these up all the time.
Everyone does. But they are fundamentally different tools. Let's start with justification. Justification is the belief tool. It answers the question, why should I believe this is true?
It sounds aggressive. Justify yourself.
It can be, but think of it more like permission. You are giving someone permission to believe a claim. Let's try an experiment. Do you know what day of the week September 11, 2001 was?
Oh, wow. That's specific. I remember where I was, obviously. But the day, I want to say Thursday? No, maybe Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday.
Okay, you say it's a Tuesday, but I'm skeptical. I'm not sure. How do you justify that?
Well, I could pull out a perpetual calendar. I could show you the year 2001, turn to September, point to the 11th, and show you the T for Tuesday.
Okay, I'm convinced. You showed me the evidence. That's solid.
Right. I have justified the belief. And notice something important about that proof. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're my best friend or my worst enemy. If you look at that calendar, you have to agree.
Because it's a fact. It's objective.
Because it is impersonal normative justification. That's the term. It provides a reason for anyone to believe it. But here is where it gets sticky. Not all justification works that way. Sometimes we have personal justification.
Is this where we get into opinions like chocolate is the best ice cream?
It's deeper than that. It's about valid reasons that only apply to you. Think about the board game Clue.
Okay, Colonel Mustard in the library with the wrench. Got it.
Let's say we are playing, and I say, I know for a fact that Miss Peacock is innocent.
And I ask, how do you know?
And I say, because I'm holding the Miss Peacock card in my hand.
Well, that proves it for you. But I can't see your hand. So it doesn't prove it for me. Not at all.
Exactly. I am fully justified in my belief. My logic is sound. But I cannot justify it to you unless I show you the card. We have different databases of information.
The text had a really heavy example of this that I thought was perfect. The debate between an atheist and a Christian.
This is one of the best examples of personal justification. Imagine you are the atheist and I am the Christian. You ask me, why do you believe Jesus rose from the dead?
Right. And you say,
I say, because it is written in the Gospels and I accept the Gospels as the revealed word of God.
okay, stop there. As the atheist in this scenario, I don't accept the Gospels as the Word of God. I think they're just old books. So your reason means nothing to me.
Correct. I have failed to convince you of the fact. But, and this is the crucial nuance, you can still look at my argument and say, okay, I see how you got there.
I can respect the structure. I can say, if I believed your premise that the Bible is true, then your conclusion would make sense.
Exactly. I have justified my belief personally, even if I haven't justified it impersonally. We see this in politics constantly. We think the other side is stupid, but often they are just operating from a different set of cards in their hand.
That is actually really comforting. It makes the world feel less insane. It's not that people are broken, it's that their premises are different.
Right. Now flip the coin. That was justification proving that something happened. Now we need explanation.
Which is the why and the how.
Yes. In explanation, we usually agree on the facts. The controversy is over. We just want to understand. The text uses the flagpole example, which is famous in philosophy circles.
Paint the picture for us.
Imagine a flagpole standing in a courtyard. It casts a shadow. We measure the shadow. We look at the angle of the sun. We do some trigonometry. And we calculate that the flagpole is exactly 35 feet tall.
Okay, we've proven the height. That is justification, no doubt about it.
But now imagine a kid walks up and asks, why is the flagpole 35 feet tall?
If I start talking about the angle of the sun and the length of the shadow, the kid is going to look at me like I'm crazy. The shadow didn't make the pole 35 feet tall.
Exactly. The math justifies the belief, but it explains nothing. The explanation is because the school board ordered a flagpole, and the state legal limit for flagpoles is 35 feet.
That's the aha moment.
That is explanation. It gives the context, the cause, the intent.
I like the ice cube example too, because that felt like a bar bet.
It's a great bar bet. Take a glass of water, put an ice cube in it, and fill it to the absolute brim. Surface tension is holding the water in. Now, wait for the ice to melt. Will it overflow?
My gut, my lizard brain says yes. You are adding water from the ice. It has to.
But your lizard brain is wrong. It won't spill a drop. The water level stays exactly the same.
Now, we can justify that by just watching it. Look, it didn't spill. Fact established. We both see it.
But that's not satisfying, is it? We want to know why.
So we have to talk about buoyancy. Archimedes.
Right. The ice cube was already displacing its own weight in water. When it melts, it turns into water that fits exactly into the hole it made. That is the explanation. Justification settles the bet. Explanation teaches the physics.
Sometimes an explanation is a formula, though, right? The text talks about narrative explanations.
That's a great point. Yeah, sometimes the best way to explain something is just to tell a story.
Like the example of the toddler foiling a bank robbery.
Right. If you just state the fact, a toddler stopped a bank robbery, it sounds impossible. You need an explanation.
And the explanation is a story. The robber was running. He didn't see the kid. He tripped over the toddler's toy truck. His gun went flying, and the security guard tackled him.
The story makes the unbelievable fact make sense. It provides the how.
So we have these two pillars. Justification, proving it, and explanation, understanding it. But in the real world, like in a courtroom, these things get mashed together, don't they?
They do. And the text walks us through a fictional murder trial that perfectly illustrates how they dance together. The case of Madison, who shot her husband, Victor.
This sounds like a plot from Dateline. I'm already hooked.
It is. So, visualize the courtroom. The prosecution stands up. Their first job is pure justification. They have to prove the facts. Is Victor dead?
Yes. The coroner confirms it. Heart stopped.
Did Madison shoot him?
Yes. We have a gun, the fingerprints, maybe a witness. It's a lock.
Okay. So the prosecution has built a wall of justification. Madison killed Victor. But is she guilty of murder?
Not necessarily.
Why?
Because maybe he was attacking her. Maybe it was self-defense.
And that is where we pivot to explanation. The trial isn't just about what happened, it's about why it happened. Madison's defense lawyer will stand up and offer an explanation. She showed him because she feared for her life.
And if the jury believes that explanation, the verdict changes.
Completely. If the explanation is self-defense, she walks free. If the explanation is she wanted his life insurance money, she goes to prison.
So justification gives us the reality, but explanation gives us the meaning.
That is a beautiful way to put it.
I want to zoom in a bit. We've been talking about arguments and reasons, but these things are made of bricks. And the bricks are words and words. Man, words are slippery.
They are the most dangerous things we have.
The text brings up Humpty Dumpty from Through the Looking Glass. I always thought that was just a kid's book, but there's some deep philosophy in there.
It's linguistic anarchy. Humpty Dumpty says, when I use a word, it means just what I choose it to mean, neither more nor less.
Which is such a power move. I'm the boss, so words mean what I say. It's an incredible claim.
It is a power move, but it destroys communication. If I decide that the word glory means a nice knockdown argument, which is what Humpty Dumpty actually does in the book, I can't talk to you. You hear glory and think of winning a battle. I mean an argument. We are passing each other in the night.
There's that great Abraham Lincoln quote the text uses. He asks a witness, if you call a tail a leg, how many legs does a horse have?
And the witness falls for the trap. He says 5.
And Lincoln says, no, 4. Calling a tail a leg doesn't make it a leg.
It's a profound point. Truth depends on the world, not on our definitions. You can't define reality into existence.
But we can do things with words, right? We can't change the number of legs on a horse, but we can change the social world.
Yes. This is the concept of speech acts. We don't just use language to describe things. We use language to perform actions.
The text mentions linguistic acts, speech acts, and conversational acts. Can we break those down? Because they sound similar.
Sure. The linguistic act is just the mechanics. Did you say a sentence that follows the rules of grammar?
Like, the cat is on the mat.
Perfect. Meaningful. Grammatical. Now try this one. I want you to read this sentence. The horse raced past the barn, fell.
The horse raced past the barn, fell. Wait, that doesn't make sense. The horse raced past the barn, fell. Did you forget a word? It feels broken.
It sounds broken, doesn't it? But it is grammatically perfect. It's what we call a garden path sentence. Your brain wants raced to be the main verb, but it's not. Raced is describing the horse.
Oh, like the horse that was raced past the barn fell.
Exactly. The linguistic act is fine, but your brain trips over it. Another fun one is buffalo, buffalo, buffalo.
Buffalo.
Buffalo, 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 buffalo.
Okay, now you're just messing with me.
Nope. Perfectly grammatical sentence. It's about bison from Buffalo, New York, who bully other bison from Buffalo, New York.
My brain just melted. Okay, so that's the linguistic act.
Yeah.
The mechanics. What is the speech act?
The speech act is the move you are making in the game. Are you promising? Are you apologizing? Are you betting? Are you asking a question?
And the conversational act.
That is the effect. Did you persuade me? Did you scare me? Did you amuse me? Did you bore me to tears?
So if I say, there's a spider on your shoulder.
Linguistic act. You said a sentence about a spider. Speech act. You warned me. Conversational act. You made me jump out of my chair and scream.
Which I would totally do.
Yeah.
Now, there's a special class of speech acts that I want to test. The performatives. The magic spells.
Austin's explicit performatives. These are words that, just by saying them, make something true in the social world.
The text suggests the thereby test. If you can put I hereby in front of it.
It works.
Right. So I apologize.
I hereby apologize. Okay, that works. If I say it, I have done it. The apology exists.
I resign.
I hereby resign. Yep. You can't take that back. You resign. The act is complete.
Now try. I lose weight.
I hereby lose weight. Nope. Still have the belly. Hasn't worked yet.
Exactly. Because losing weight is a physical process, not a social one. But I want to go back to one you mentioned earlier. Betting. This is a fascinating one.
Okay, let's try it. I am looking at my coffee mug here. I say, I hereby bet you $5 this mug will break if I drop it.
Boom. You have changed the universe. Before you spoke, there was no debt, no wager. The moment you said those words, a financial obligation came into existence. You created a reality where I might owe you $5.
That is wild. We're literally speaking things into existence.
And here is the catch: context matters. Suppose you are an actor on a stage. You're playing a gambler. You shout, I bet you $5,000.
Do I owe the other actor $5,000?
Why not? I said the magic words.
Because the conditions weren't met. We call that a hollow performative. The gun clicked, but there was no bullet. You weren't playing the game of real life, you were playing the game of theater.
So we have to know which game we are playing.
Always. And speaking of games, there are rules to this conversation game. We don't just shout random things at each other, most of the time anyway.
This brings us to Paul Grice and the cooperative principle.
Grace is essential. His basic idea is that when we talk, we assume the other person is trying to make sense. We assume they are cooperating. And he broke this down into 4 rules, or maxims.
Quantity, quality, relevance, and manner. Let's run through them because I feel like my text messages violate these daily.
Quantity is the Goldilocks rule. Don't say too much, don't say too little, give just the right amount of information.
The text uses the fire extinguisher example.
Right. Imagine your kitchen is on fire. You scream, "Where is the fire extinguisher?" And I say, "Well, there is one in the basement behind the old paint cans. There is one in the garage under the tarp, and there is one in the attic."
Meanwhile, I am burning to death, and there is one right next to me on the wall.
Exactly. I violated the rule of quantity. I gave you true information, but I gave you way too much irrelevant stuff and buried the one piece you needed.
Then there is quality.
Simple. Don't lie. Don't say things you can't back up with evidence. Be truthful.
Relevance.
Stay on topic. If you ask about the fire extinguisher and I start talking about how much I love grilled cheese sandwiches, I am being irrelevant.
And manner.
Be clear. Be brief. Be orderly. Don't be obscure or ambiguous.
But here is the hacker's guide to language. We break these rules on purpose, don't we?
All the time. And when we break them blatantly, we create implication. We force the listener to look for a hidden meaning.
The recommendation letter example. This one is brutal. I want everyone to listen to this because it is so clever.
It is the ultimate academic burn. Imagine I am a professor. A student asks me for a recommendation letter for a PhD program in philosophy. This student is not bright. But I can't lie. Rule of quality.
So what do you write? You're stuck.
I write, "To whom it may concern, Mr. Jones has excellent handwriting and is always punctual to class. Sincerely, Professor X."
Ouch. That is just devastating.
Now look at the logic. Did I say he is a bad student?
No. You said he has nice handwriting. That's a compliment, technically.
But I violated the rule of quantity. You expect a letter for a philosophy program to talk about his philosophy skills, his arguments, his writing. Since I didn't mention them, and I should know them, the implication is screaming. He has no philosophy skills.
It's what you didn't say that destroys him.
Exactly. Sarcasm works the same way. If you drop your coffee mug and it shatters and I say, "Brilliant job, Einstein," I'm saying something blatantly false. I am violating the rule of quality, so you know I must mean the opposite.
And metaphors, too, like George Washington was the father of his country. That's literally false.
Right, violating quality again. He wasn't the literal biological father. But because we assume cooperation, you look for the intended meaning, that he was a founder, a protector, a guide.
Okay, so we know the rules. We know how to imply things. Now I want to get to the self-defense part. The weapons people use against us. The text calls these defensive strategies.
These are the shields arguers use to protect themselves from being wrong. And they are everywhere once you start listening for them.
Let's talk about assuring. This is the trust me bro of logic.
It is. Assuring is when you try to shut down debate by citing an authority or claiming certainty. Doctors agree that, or science says, or I am 100% certain.
My favorite, and by favorite I mean the one I hate most, is it's common sense.
The abusive assurance.
Why is it abusive? That sounds strong.
Because think about what it implies. If
Yeah.
I say it is common sense that we should lower taxes and you disagree with me, what am I saying about you?
That I don't have common sense. That I'm an idiot.
Exactly. I haven't given you a reason. I've just threatened to insult you if you disagree. It's a bullying tactic. Whenever you hear, "everyone knows," or "it is obvious," your radar should go off.
Then there is guarding. This feels like the politician's best friend.
It is the art of the retreat. Guarding is when you weaken your claim just enough that it's hard to attack.
So instead of saying all politicians are corrupt, which is easy to disprove, you just need one honest one.
You say, it is possible that some politicians might, in some respects, essentially be corrupt.
Mistakes were arguably made.
Exactly. You can't prove that false. It's practically Teflon. But you have to watch out for the disappearing guard.
What's that?
That's when they start with the guard. Perhaps X is true, to get you nodding along. But by the time they get to the conclusion a paragraph later, the perhaps is gone. They treat it as a hard fact. They sneak it past the border guards of your brain.
And the third one, discounting. The yes, but.
This is about directing attention. The word but is a powerful tool. It's a linguistic spotlight. It tells the brain, ignore what I just said and focus on what comes next.
Give me an example.
Imagine we were looking at a wedding ring. I say, the ring is expensive, but it is beautiful.
Okay. We are buying that ring. The beauty wins.
Now flip it. The ring is beautiful, but it is expensive.
We are walking out of the store. The expense wins.
The facts are the same. Beautiful plus expensive. But the discounting changes the conclusion entirely. It tells you which fact matters more.
Okay, I feel armed. I have my radar on. I'm ready to spot the assurances, the guards, the discounting. Now, I want to put this to the test. We are going to go into the lab.
Let's do it.
We are traveling back in time, 1961, the U.S. House of Representatives.
Set the scene. It's probably smoky, men in suits. The issue on the table is the clerk hire allowance.
Which sounds incredibly boring.
It is boring. Basically, Congressman wanted a budget increase to hire more staff. But Representative John Kyle of Iowa stands up to oppose it, and he gives a speech.
Now, we're going to analyze this speech line by line based on the text. I have it here. Listen to how he starts. He says, "Mr. Chairman, I do not intend to belabor this first contention."
Stop right there. I do not intend to belabor.
It sounds polite. He's saying, I won't bore you guys with the details.
But look at the text. He spends the next 2 long paragraphs talking about nothing else. He totally belabors it.
So why say he won't? What's the move?
It's an assurance. He is implying, this point is so obvious, so settled, that I shouldn't even have to talk about it. He is trying to make the audience feel like the argument is already won, even while he is fighting it.
Sneaky. Okay, next part. He talks about the cost. And he says this, "It is not enough to say to the taxpayers that a little more will not hurt."
Whoa, hold on. Did you catch the trick?
A little more will not hurt.
Did anyone in Congress actually say, hey guys, let's spend millions of dollars because a little more won't hurt?
That sounds like a child asking for a cookie. One more won't hurt.
Exactly. Nobody said that. His opponents probably made complex arguments about efficiency, about workload, about serving constituents. But Keel ignores all that. He invents a stupid, childish argument, it won't hurt, puts it in his opponent's mouths, and then crushes it.
That's a straw man.
Textbook. He is debating a ghost because the ghost is easier a beat than the real opponent.
Okay, then he gets scary. He says if we hire one more clerk, we will need another desk, then another typewriter, then more stationery, and then it is not beyond the realm of possibility that new buildings will be necessary.
From a typewriter to a new skyscraper in 3 sentences. It's an incredible leap.
That is the slippery slope fallacy.
It is the parade of horrors. He wants you to panic. But look at how he protects himself. Does he say, we will build new buildings?
No. He says it is not beyond the realm of possibility.
There is the guard. He has guarded himself so heavily that you can't call him a liar. Is it possible? Sure. It's possible aliens will land on the Capitol tomorrow. But he uses that tiny, remote possibility to imply a massive, inevitable disaster.
It's manipulative genius. And then he wraps it up with some sophistry about the math.
Right, this is a classic false dilemma. He says, if some members do not need all the allowance, there is no need for the increase. If some members do need more, then the bill is unjust to the others.
It sounds so logical. Heads I win, tails you lose.
But it completely ignores the real world, which is about compromise and finding a middle ground. He's presenting 2 extreme options as the only ones. That's sophistry.
And finally, he just starts name-calling. He calls the current proposal a mathematical monstrosity. He calls it absurd. He calls it a violation of common sense.
Evaluative language. And notice the thick concepts in there. Monstrosity isn't just a description, it's a value judgment. He isn't just checking the math, he is emoting. He wants you to feel disgust. He wants you to feel that the other side is crazy.
It's amazing. When you just read the speech fast, it sounds like a serious politician making a serious point. But when you slow down, it's just a collection of tricks. It's assuring, straw manning, slippery sloping, and name calling.
And that is why we study logic. Because if you didn't have these tools, Rep. Kill might have convinced you.
He would have totally convinced me. I would be terrified of the new buildings.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can tear an argument apart, but what about putting one back together? Because when I listen to real people talk, not prepared speeches, but real talk, it's a mess. People ramble, they repeat themselves.
This is the process of reconstruction. Before we can evaluate an argument, we have to clean it up. We have to be like an archaeologist, brushing away the dirt to find the bones.
And the first thing to brush away is what the text calls red herrings.
Right. Dragging a smelly fish across the trail to distract the dogs from the real scent.
There is a clip mentioned from a debate with Mitt Romney. The topic was nuclear weapons in Iran. But Romney starts talking about the UN inviting Ahmadinejad to speak, and then he attacks Columbia University for inviting him.
And the crowd goes wild. because
Right.
they hate the UN and, liberal universities. But logically,
It has nothing to do with it.
it's a mess. Columbia University has nothing to do with nuclear proliferation treaties. It's a red herring. It fires up the base, but it adds no weight to the logical structure. So when we reconstruct, we cut it. We throw it in the trash.
We also need to cut repetition. The source mentions a John Edwards speech about poverty.
Yes. If I say we should lower taxes because it helps the economy, and also lower taxes spur growth, and furthermore, an economic boost comes from tax cuts.
You've said 3 things.
No, I've said one thing 3 times. That is one pillar, not 3. You have to combine them.
And we have to clarify the say no to drugs example.
Perfect. What does that mean? Are we saying no to aspirin, no to caffeine, no to alcohol?
Or just illegal drugs.
You can't even begin to evaluate the argument until you clarify the terms.
Okay, so we clean up the mess,
Right.
we clarify the terms, and then we draw a map. We diagram the argument. This is the visual part.
I think of it like engineering. You have to see the blueprint.
Yeah.
We have linear structures. A leads to B, B leads to C.
Like a chain.
A chain, exactly. The reading is hard, so I will have to read slowly, so I will be late for the movie. It's a chain.
And if one link breaks, the whole thing falls apart.
Right. Then we have branching structures. This is like a table with many legs. Rep. Cal used this. Reason 1, the allowance increase is too expensive. Reason 2, it's the wrong time for it.
So even if I prove it's not expensive, his argument doesn't collapse.
Nope. It still stands on the other leg. Reason 2, it's much stronger.
And then the tricky one, joint structures.
This is where premises need each other to work like a chemical reaction. They're useless on their own.
The example from the book is about keys.
Right. Premise 1, the keys are either in the car or in the house. Premise 2, the keys are not in the house.
Conclusion, they are in the car.
But notice you need both. If I just tell you the keys aren't in the house, that doesn't prove they are in the car. They could be on the moon. They could be anywhere. You need the first premise to set the trap. They work jointly.
Okay, we have cleaned the argument. We have mapped it out. Now comes the final test. Is it a good argument? And this brings us to the 2 big words, the boss battle of logic. Validity and soundness.
People use these interchangeably all the time, but they are completely different in logic.
I admit I'm one of those people. That's a valid point, just means that's true to me.
In logic, validity has nothing to do with truth. Validity is about the machine. Think of an argument like a meat grinder.
Okay, I'm picturing a meat grinder. A slightly gross analogy, but okay.
The logic, the structure, is the machine itself. The gears, the blades, the handle. A valid argument is a machine that works perfectly. If you put good meat in, you are guaranteed to get good sausage out. The process is flawless.
So if the machine is broken, if the gears are stripped,
Then it's invalid. It doesn't matter how good the meat is. If the machine is broken, you just get a mess. You can't trust the output.
okay, that makes sense.
But here's the catch. You can have a perfect machine,
A valid argument.
and you can shove rotten meat into it.
Ugh, see,
And the machine will process that rotten meat perfectly. It will produce a perfectly formed, beautiful sausage of garbage. That argument is valid, but it is not sound.
Give me an example of the rotten meat sausage. I need to hear this.
Premise 1, all pigs can fly. That's a rotten meat.
Porky is a pig. That's true. Good meat.
Therefore, Porky can fly.
Okay. So, logic-wise, the structure works.
The machine worked. If it were true that all pigs can fly, and it is true that Porky is a pig, then it must follow that Porky can fly. The logic is tight. It is 100% valid.
But it's nonsense. Pigs don't fly. The first premise is false.
Exactly. So it is valid, but it is not sound. Soundness is the holy grail. Soundness means you have a working machine, validity, and fresh, true meat, true premises.
This is a huge distinction. I feel like we spend most of our lives arguing about the meat, the facts, but we forget to check if the machine's even plugged in.
Or the reverse. We see a conclusion we like, Porky can fly, and we don't care that the machine used to get there is completely broken. We just want the outcome.
So we've covered a lot of ground. We've gone from what is an argument to speech acts to defensive strategies to meat grinders. What is the big takeaway here? Because I don't want to become that annoying guy at parties who corrects everyone's grammar.
Please don't be that guy. Actually, that was a conversational implication. No. The goal isn't to be a robot. The goal is to see the matrix.
To see the code falling behind the reality.
Yes. When you watch the news tonight, watch for the assurances. When a pundit says, it is obvious that, ask yourself, is it? Or are you just bullying me into agreeing? When you see an ad, look for the performatives and the implications. When you get into an argument, ask, are we doing justification or explanation right now?
It's about not being a pawn on the board.
Exactly.
But I have a challenge for the listeners, and for myself, really. We spent this whole hour tearing apart other people's arguments.
Yeah.
Representative Killanella, the atheist,
Yeah.
the Christian. That's the fun part. It feels good to break down someone else's bad logic.
It does. It feels superior.
But the hard work, the real work, is turning that lens on yourself. Take a belief you hold deep in your bones, something political, religious, personal, something you defend to the death, and try to reconstruct your own argument for it.
That is terrifying.
Strip away your own assurances, everyone knows this is true. Look at your own guards. Are you using might be, or it seems like, to hide a weak point? If you put your own deepest belief through the meat grinder, is it sound? Or is it just a valid structure built on some rotten meat you've never really examined?
If you can do that, if you can really critique your own deepest beliefs with these tools, then you are actually thinking. You're not just reacting.
That is the deep dive challenge. Good luck with the existential crisis, everyone.
And watch out for the red herrings.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.